Breathing. Have you ever really just stopped to think about it? Probably not. It's one of those things that you do automatically, instinctively. You never really consider what you're doing, you just do it. Until somebody comes along and says, you're now entering manual breathing. And at first you're like, what do you mean? And then, probably without realizing it, for a little bit at least, you have to think about breathing. So it comes to mind, what is breathing? How do you do it? Did you ever just wonder, maybe, what it is that you're doing? Breathing is fairly simple, or really complex. Can't decide. Breathing is a process where you inhale and two muscles in your lungs contract and detract. You breathe by creating a vacuum. The intercostal muscles and diaphragm work together to expand your lungs, creating that vacuum that allows you to pull in so much air, and by contracting your lungs, that allows you to push the air out. It's really quite a simple process. But could you imagine going through your day having to think, all right, I need to have my intercostal muscles go outward, and I need to have my diaphragm go down? Probably not. It's kind of impractical, especially when you consider all the things you have to do in one day. The next thing I think that comes to mind for a lot of people is, how is it that some people can hold their breath for so long? If you've ever looked on the internet about anybody holding their breath, the world record holder is a guy from Germany, and he can hold his breath for almost 30 minutes underwater on, note, natural oxygen, which is just straight oxygen, not the air that you normally breathe, but still, 30 minutes? That's a long time. And then there's people that free dive. These guys are just as crazy. They go down maybe 200, 300 feet in some cases with no oxygen tank, no fins, just a swimsuit and goggles. And that's ridiculous. I'm a swimmer, and I couldn't even do that. In fact, the thought of it makes me scared and claustrophobic even, and in some cases think that I would probably drown. I can barely make it a 25 without freaking out and having to come up for air, let alone going 200 feet underwater. So I think what this does is it makes you think that breathing is simple, but yet so much more. It's almost elaborate, in fact. Some people can hold their breath for a long time, other people can't. And even though you would think everybody's built the same, everybody's lungs should be able to do the same thing, they really can't. They all do the same functions, but at the end of the day, some people can hold their breath for 30 minutes underwater, and others of us come up after about 10 seconds.